Hey everybody, today I am in downtown Indianapolis, and more specifically I'm on Georgia Street, which is really kind of in the heart of one of the most popular parts of downtown called the Wholesale District. So we're going to explore it just a little bit to see what you can find here and then what it might be like living here. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton with the Compton Home Group. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time to the channel, then make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to know everything there is to know about living in downtown Indianapolis, living in Indianapolis, or any of the surrounding metro. And make sure you tap that little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video each and every week. And we have people contacting us from all over the country and all over the Indy Metro with questions about places like this, the Wholesale District in downtown Indianapolis, any of the suburbs, or any of the neighborhoods in Indianapolis. So if you have questions at all about any of those areas, then don't hesitate to reach out any way that you know how. We'll always have your back with those questions, and we'll certainly have your back when it comes time for you to make your move to Indy or within the Indy Metro. So today I am in downtown Indianapolis, and the downtown part of Indianapolis is actually made up of multiple parts. So you can live in a lot of different places and it really truly be considered downtown Indy. But kind of the definition of downtown Indy is either one of two things or the combination of both. You can have Miles Square, which is a little bit north of where I'm at for the most part right now. So Monument Circle, and how you know you're in Miles Square is to the north you have North Street, to the south you have South Street, and not hard to guess, to the west you have West Street, and then to the east you have East Street. So it makes up a square, kind of the original downtown Indianapolis. So I'm for the most part a little bit south of that in the Wholesale District. And when people think about downtown Indianapolis, they think of Monument Circle, they think of probably a number of different things, but a lot of those things that they're thinking of happen to be in this particular location. So way back here behind me, you probably can't see it very well. I've got some trees in the way, and on Georgia Street here, this is just a super cool, extremely walkable street with a ton of restaurants going up and down, and it was really renovated and put into place. I mean, Georgia Street's been here for a really long time, but it was renovated to look the way that it does right now, pretty much for the Super Bowl when it was here back in 2012. But this part and south has a lot of the Indianapolis icons, some of the big things people know Indianapolis for, and it's the Wholesale District. So Bankers Life Fieldhouse, like I said, is just off here to the east of me, and that of course is where the Pacers play and the Fever play, and there are plenty of concerts and events that happen in that building throughout the entire year. Just off to the west of me, we have Circle Center Mall. I'll kind of swing around here a little bit and maybe you can actually see that in the background. But Circle Center Mall is the big mall that's downtown. It's a huge mall, and it's very popular for people who live in the Indy Metro, and of course if you're downtown here in this particular area. But of course connected to that, you have the Arts Garden, which is a super cool, pretty architecturally significant structure in downtown Indianapolis, and along with that you have all kinds of buildings down here that have some pretty serious architectural significance, plus just some famous places within those. So one, if you're visiting Indianapolis or you live in Indianapolis, one of the restaurants that you're probably going to end up knowing is St. Elmo's Steakhouse. There's Harry and Izzy's right next door, which is pretty close to the same, just has a different vibe. But the steaks, the seafood, anything that you actually get in there, shrimp cocktails, the thing that's the most famous at St. Elmo's other than the steaks themselves, that's been around for a very, very long time. And you know, if there's one place that you need to go that would define your Indianapolis experience, if you're in the downtown particular area, like the Wholesale District, St. Elmo's would be that place that you'd probably want to visit. Some of the other places might be the Repertory Theater, the Arts Ballroom, and also, of course, the Slippery Noodle Inn, which is over off South Street. That is Indiana's oldest operating bar, and it's also the oldest commercial building in the entire downtown area and has unbelievable historical significance. It is a super, super cool place. A blues bar. It's actually pretty big. They serve food there, and you can get drinks there, of course, and a couple different stages, but a great place to go for sure. It gets crowded, of course, whenever the Colts are playing in town. I was just to the south of it, although technically not really in the Wholesale District. You have Lucas Oil Stadium. So I've got Bankers Life over here I'm looking at right now, just across from me down Georgia Street. If I were to go just a little bit to the southwest of here, actually if I break out of these buildings pretty close to where I'm at right now, you could actually end up seeing Lucas Oil Stadium and the Slippery Noodle Inn just down the street. Very, very close to here, and that's actually one of the attractions of the Wholesale District, other than some of the famous places that Indianapolis has, is the fact that you can walk to all of these. So I actually I drove down here. I don't live in downtown Indianapolis, but I parked just about a block away, right on the street. It was really pretty easy. Of course, today, right now, it's in the morning during the week, so it's not incredibly busy. Pretty easy to find a parking spot, but even during events, big events, it's not terrible, and you're of course going to have to pay to park, but it's usually not completely outrageous. You might be able to park for $20 or something like that in one of the parking garages around. Street parking might be a little bit difficult, but during the week or just randomly on the weekends without major events like Colts games or Pacer games or concerts or something like that happening, you might be able to do that fairly easily. But you can walk to everything through here. So the Repertory Theater, Monument Circle, Lucas Oil Stadium, Bankers Life Fieldhouse, St. Elmo's Steakhouse, or any of the other places that surround me where I'm at right now. And some of the best nightlife is through here. There are a couple of bars on either side of me, and even down the street here on Georgia. During the week, especially on the weekends, especially when that weather is really nice, days like today, evenings like tonight is actually going to be, it gets crowded and happening, and it's a fantastic place to be. But if you want to live in downtown Indianapolis, you could of course live in a place like the Wholesale District. It's just that it's probably going to be very vertical. You don't have any single family detached homes in this particular area, so you're looking at really just condos and kind of high-rise condos. So, looking up at the building right here, places like that where your view is probably going to be pretty tremendous. Unless it's looking right at a building right next door, it may not be all that great. But you could have some decent views of a place like Georgia Street, where a lot of people are going to be busy, going to restaurants, going to bars, going to concerts, things like that, and you can kind of see that action all the time. Or you could live, of course, a little bit outside this and not feel quite as crowded in your condo, but it's still going to be pretty vertical. And you can expect to pay probably at least $500,000 to live in this particular area, and you can of course go well over that. I think there's a place right now listed a little bit over $4 million. So that's pretty tremendous. You don't need to spend that kind of money in order to live right in downtown Indianapolis. You can get away in that $500,000 to $600,000 range, but your place isn't going to be all that big. You can have 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom condos through here that aren't tremendously large, but it's not like you would expect really a huge place living in a downtown of a bigger city. But it's the one advantage that you would have over living in, of course, a lot of other places, is that it's walkable. So like I said, I parked just a little bit north of Bankers Life Fieldhouse, and I walked over here to Georgia Street, just about a block away, in just a couple of minutes. So it's one of those places in the Indy Metro that you could probably get away with not owning a car if you didn't want to. You have a bike, you could certainly get to some of the further points from where I'm standing on your bike more quickly than you could walking. If you head directly west past Circle Center Mall and you get over towards West Street, that's where you get into White River State Park, Victory Field, which is where the Indians play, which is the AAA ball club for the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's definitely walkable from here, but on a bike or a scooter, something like that, you're going to get there just a few minutes faster, of course. But you don't need a car in this area. If you live out in the suburbs, or if you, for the most part, live almost anywhere else in Indianapolis, it would be your choice not to have a car, but it's going to make things pretty difficult. There are some suburbs in Indianapolis that are a little bit walkable, but you still have to drive to, for the most part, those areas, unless you live right in those areas, but the opportunity to live in those areas is really quite small. You have to drive to it, and then you can walk to a number of places that might be interesting to you. this would be one of those places just where you might not have to have that car. Although the opportunities to get into a place like this don't come up tremendously often, but they do in fact happen. So downtown Indianapolis, while the Wholesale District isn't exactly really truly all of downtown, it does encompass a lot of what downtown has to offer and what downtown is really known for. So if you have any questions about the Wholesale District, the entire downtown area at all, then don't hesitate to reach out any way that you know how. And until the next one, we'll see you later.